frags are unique. Pouches for the fragmentation hand grenades. You are trained in the military that you open the pouch, you put the grenade in, and close it. That everywhere you go, that's how it's done. Well, the first time I ever threw a hand grenade for real, I was on my stomach, getting it out. I got up to throw it. If you ever think you're going to throw a hand grenade from the prone, take a baseball, lay on your chest, throw it, and you wish you'd never thrown that fucking grenade, because it goes 6 feet. But I'm getting the grenade out, and my chest rig's down, sitting on the fucking flap. You follow me? The flap goes up. So I'm now doing this to get this fucking grenade out.
Don't worry about
it. It's okay.
Mom, go clean it up later.
So I get the, hey man, it's good to see you, little boy. You grown up. So I'm going to get this fucking grenade out. I'm about to get shot because the shelf or the wall is not we're on the roof, and it places only 2 feet high. So now my head's exposed. One fat ass is trying to get this grenade out. So what's unique about it is I had him put the grenade pouches upside down, so the grenade falls into your hand when you need it. You know, you like undo it and it just comes out this way instead of up and into your shit. Now I would wear that thing on the base, and nobody says shit to us when we're on base because they don't know who you are, what you're doing, and it's obvious they can't fuck with you. But the Army dudes would flip you could see it in their heads. He has fucking grenades upside down. They fucking flip out, but it's actually a
There was a whole thread on Light Fighter of dudes talking shit about how unsafe it was to have grenades upside down. You might open it when your hands are wet and it rolls out. Well, you don't have the fucking pin out of it, dipshit.
Yeah.
But the deal was, Mookie called me. I had just gotten home. I was at a mall, and Mookie calls me at 9 o'clock and goes, hey, I need this rig. I need it in like 6 days, and it has to have A, B, C, and X, Y, Z on it. So I call him. I get home at 1 in the morning. And I call him up, we talk for about an hour, and I made the first rig that night and the next morning. And the rig came out, and I'm like, Ben, you can't wear this fucking rig. You want so much shit on this rig. The rig is 36 inches wide and like 24 inches tall. I'm like, there's no fucking way that you gotta lose some of this shit. He's like, bullshit, fucking do it. I know you can do it. So we started fucking around with it, and the only way to get it to work, traditionally, all the mag pouches sit low and your smokes sit on the side, but we had medical over here, we had radio over here, we had all kinds of shit on the rig, so there was nowhere to put the smoke. So we bumped the mags up and put the smokes underneath, and then the frags. Now the real Mookie War Rig had frags and smokes. The ones we sold to civilians only had smokes on them. And there's maybe 100 real Mookie War Rigs. The final rig was 30 inches wide and about 17 inches tall. So we made about 100 of those. There's 100 of them floating around. When we see them go up for sale, which is very rare, they almost always go to Japan nowadays when they are auctioned off. We see them go for $2,500. And we built a few of these rigs. There's a few of them, in use. Nowadays, we've got the NSW chest rig, which does almost the same thing. It's just layered because we were able to put the mags inside. So fast forward, and Ben will have a lot more to add in between all this, I'm sure, but in history, fast forward to the movie Hurt Locker. Ben's home now, and he's hanging out here in Camden some, and, we're doing some shit. I'm still in San Diego, and he says, I'm going to be in L.A., come to L.A., we're all flying into L.A., and we're going to meet with Jeremy Renner and Ray Fiennes and a bunch of these actors. So we roll up to L.A., and all these dudes are there. And all these guys are sitting in there. They're doing briefings, like Chris Barrett's there talking about the 50 cal rifles and the Dog Brothers. That was probably the coolest fucking, if you don't know who the Dog Brother... Ben got the fucking Dog Brother guys to come.
Mark Denny.
There's some dudes that are meeting in parks. It's the real life Fight Club. Fight Club was based on these dudes. There's Nat Geo documentaries. There's Discovery Channel. Some dudes meet in the park and beat the fucking living shit out of each other with whatever weapon you choose. And it became this whole underground fight scene. I'm watching these motherfuckers. I'm just sitting here staring at these dudes that I'd seen on TV. Ben got these dudes in there just talking about fighting Mindship and Warrior Mindship and stuff. And afterwards, we're in the hallway. Ben's like, hey, come talk to these actors about the gear and shit. And Renner's out there. And he's like, hey, you ride dirt bikes? I'm like, yeah. He's like, can I come down to your house and ride some fucking dirt bikes? If I bring my brother down there? I'm like, yeah, we can fucking ride dirt. They were cool. They were just normal fucking people. They didn't give a shit about the Hollywood stuff. That dude checked himself out of his contract to come off of insurance and paid for training from TAC Response because guys were giving him shit in one of his last movies about his weapons handling skill. And if he was going to portray a U.S. serviceman, he didn't want to make them look bad. So he got training on his own. So anyways, we're doing these rigs. We do a Mookie War Light, which is just 8 mags. Has a place for a tear-off med pouch and some smokes on it. We're doing a baby version that's more modular at a lower price point than the Mookie War rig for the movie Hurt Locker. And if you look at the cover of Hurt Locker, our gear's all over it. You can see all of our red panels on our tear-off med pouch and stuff. So we make these 8 mag rigs. They're putting them on film. They're filming, and Ben calls me up. He's like, "Dude, these rigs are making the actors look fat. We need a skinnier rig." So we shit out some 4 mag rigs. And some of the dealers and some guys in Japan and Italy get a hold of these photos. I don't even know where they got the photos from. Like the movie nobody even knew about the movie yet, really. And they found out about these rigs. So we make the 8 mag rig, which we're selling a little bit. We make a 4 mag rig now because it was making the actors look fat. We were never going to sell them. I'm like, man, these things will never sell. Dudes started buying them because of the movie. And then we made a modular version. We still make all 3 of those rigs to this day. That was 10 years ago almost.
Yes.
So I moved here to Camden 6 years ago, and the day I roll into town, Ben's here. It was alumni weekend.
Yep.
And here we are again, fucking hanging out. Ben's in and out a little bit, and I moved here to work in this one room, and we now have about 6,000 square feet. I've got a 1,600 square foot on the back. It's all storage where we keep. It was originally just a garage to keep the razors and the 4-wheelers and shit, but it's been taken over half of its webbing and supplies. And then when TAC Response moved out, we took that building down there, and that's manufacturing. And then we got the old haunted house on the hill up here. That's all storage and webbing and shit. The snake trailer out here is full of snakes and lizards and shit, and several rooms in there are now webbing and materials. So we have just bought a 10,000 square foot building on 10 acres of property. We just added 6,000 square feet upstairs, so we've got a loft up there. And we'll be manufacturing there in addition to here. I don't know how long we will stay here, but we'll be here at least a year still. So when we're buying additional equipment, setting up additional lines, we're taking some ladies from here to train new bodies, and then still keep this up and running so it's somewhat seamless when it changes over. But talk. I know you got.
We got a new product coming out. I have a nephew who's Jewish. Love him to death. The Mookie War Yarmulke. For all your little Jewish friends, we're going to do it in Cryptek, all kinds of shit. Here's the rule. You can't order it and say what material you want it in. You get what you get. Shut the fuck up. That's what's coming, okay? How about we just agree on that right now, right?
Yeah.
Whatever color we feel like making. If you get a pink yarmulke, wear your pink yarmulke. Oh, by the way, happy Hanukkah, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have any questions that you were lingering on your mind?
Yeah, so how did you like running the rig when you were, was it in Afghanistan?
It was in Afghanistan, and as you were talking, it reminded me, I was like, oh yeah, on that contract, I was mostly working out of a Pajero, which is like a little fucking terrible pickup truck overseas. So if you were thinking, well, I can think of smarter ways to carry 12 magazines. If you're in a fucking truck for 8 hours, the only way you can carry 12 mags is on your chest. Because what you actually do is you lift up when you hop down, you lift up, you pull your body armor out just a little bit, and I carried socks with sand in them, like a sniper would for shooting. Well, I would sit it right there in my thigh, rest the armor plate, because that shit will fuck you up over time. Set that on the sand, which displaces all the weight, and then I sit the mags on top of the armor, and I'm fucking relaxed. Also, you have to take one of those sandbags, like a big sock, and put it in the small of your back, lumbar, and set your back plate on that so it takes that weight off. Because if you sit in a car for 6-8 hours a day bouncing with 30 pounds all over you, I just had spine surgery 3 months ago over the totality of my lifestyle.
How did you come up with 12 mags?
Because I really didn't think I could pull off 24.
Because he couldn't carry 20.
That is the true answer, as cheeky as it is. 12 was as reasonable. 3, 3, 3, and 3. That was as legit as we were going to get. One of the instructors today said, you'll never hear anyone say, too bad I had all that ammo in the fire, and it's 100% true. If you're ever thinking about ammo, it just goes basic. Excess is best. More ammo, more better. If you see any pictures of James's vehicles in Iraq, which were my vehicles in Iraq, I had all my shit on me. That was my shit. And then I stuck magazines, grenades, shotgun. Like I'd get a little shotgun and cut it up like this and put it in a. I was like the fucking Easter Bunny of death, man. Because when you need it, you need a lot of it. You know what I mean? And you get all fucked up thinking in your mind about the bullshit end of work. Because most of work as a soldier, a cop, or whatever, a dude with a gun is bullshit. You're carrying it, it sucks, and you start finding yourself modifying things for comfort and all these other decisions that are just fucking wrong.
So, John, if I could ask, so it's kind of sounded like the Mookie War rig was sort of like a step on your way to the NSW rig, like evolutionary.
It was. I mean, the NSW rig came 10 years forward. Mike